to Sanjib. Why don't you just give a little background, and then we're kind of going to jump into a whole bunch of different things. So take it away, Sanjib.
Thank you, Calvin. It's an honor and pleasure to speak with you. Regarding my background, I came from India, so I have lived my first 26 years of life in India, and I finished my pharmacy schooling there. After finishing my pharmacy schooling, I worked there for a couple of years, but I was not, satisfied with what I was doing in India. So I moved to London in 2002. I lived and worked there as a pharmacist for 5 years. And after working for 5 years, again, my life was saturated. So I was looking for a better opportunity, which led me to come to United States in 2008. So I came to United States in 2008, and I've been living here for the past 14 years and working as a pharmacist. So kind of a brief thing about myself.
Your journey as a pharmacist, sometimes in my reading, some of that left you a little bit unfulfilled, if I'm using the right words, and that energy allowed you to begin to change your life pathway by, and is that how you got into meditating? You wanted more fulfillment?
Yes. So Kelvin, from 2013 to 2016, I was struggling in my life because of circumstances beyond my control. I was angry, fearful, and I don't know what to do with my life. And each passing day, I was drowning more and more. And I was thinking, somebody or something or God is going to help me. So I went to India a couple of times to, find the reason or to solve the issue. But, that did not resolve it. And after coming back in 2016, I was still struggling. And each passing day, I was, drowning more and more. And I knew that I have to do something, because I was at the rock bottom. And once you are at the rock bottom, you started thinking of the ways, how you can improve your life. So in 2017 beginning, I started, meditating, because as I came from Eastern culture, and, meditation has been told to stop your restless mind. And my mind was, pulled in different directions. I was not able to get out of that negativity. So that led me to dive into meditation. And after doing it for 8 to 10 weeks, I was able to feel a little bit calmer. I was going in the right direction. I felt, that feeling was inside me. And, once I able to, figure out, okay, this is helping me a little bit, then why shouldn't I pursue it more? So, that led me to, dive more into it. I started practicing it, 4 or 5 times a week. First I started with 10 or 15 minutes, and eventually it led to 30 minutes. Then at one point I was doing 1 to 2 hours.
Wow.
Like, it was a gradual thing which I come to meditation. And, I am involved in so much of meditation now that, it has completely changed my life. And that led me to do other things in my life at the same time, because, meditation is not the one thing which is going to change your life upside down. You have to take a holistic approach, about your life, what you wanted to do and what are the changes you can implement in your life, because everybody is different. You cannot say everybody to do meditation. There are different things which you can implement it. You can do yoga, you can do, mantra meditation, you can do affirmation. It's a choice which you have, but you have to do something to live a fulfilled life.
So you have on one hand the meditation, and I find this aspect of your life very interesting too, because I've done some of that in my life. In the middle of all this, you began walking and just getting out and doing a little walking. And why don't you tell how that kind of morphed into you becoming a marathon runner?
So yeah, once I started doing meditation, I thought, okay, what else I can implement in my life? And, frankly speaking, I haven't run a mile in my whole life. I played different kind of sports, which was different, but, like actual, track or marathon, I haven't done in my life. So I started walking, like I used to walk for 10 or 15 minutes, which led to 30 minutes. And I have done it for, approximately 1 year or around 15 months. So after doing it for 15 months, my body told me, no, you can jog now, which was, kind of a surprise to me, but, I felt, healthy inside. So, I started jogging, like, I used to jog for, a block, then I used to take rest, and again, block, and again, I used to take rest. So I set a goal that, I will jog 1 mile with my son, who was around, 6 years at that time. So that gave me the, motivation or the inspiration to, work on something, because, I was in a negative state. So this was giving me something. And even it was a small goal, it was something to keep me inspired.
Right.
So I started, working on, running a mile. And, once I have run my first mile, I wanted to do, bigger things in my life. I don't want to stop it there because, it is helping me come out from negativity to positivity. So I thought, why shouldn't I run a half marathon?
Oh.
So, after, 4 or 5 practice run, I enrolled myself in a half marathon. I went there, I gave my best. And, once I finished my race, I was a completely different person because it has given me, so much of confidence, so much of positivity that I can do bigger things in my life. Because, what happens when we are growing up, that self-esteem or self-worth is sometimes less. And I see it in so many, other individuals that we don't feel good about ourselves. We always see, oh, I'm not good at, maths, or I'm not good at science, or I'm not good looking, or I'm not good at public speaking. There are different kind of flaws which we see in ourselves. So once completing that half marathon, it gave me a positivity. You can do bigger things. So after that, I enrolled myself for a full marathon.
Wow.
And I have 3 months to prepare.
Wow.
And, just to give you a glimpse that, running a full marathon is not an easy task. I mean, it's 26.2 miles, and the person who has not run in 37 years of his life, it was not a joke. But, I put my full efforts and concentration. I practiced it for 3 months, and I was able to complete my first marathon in 4 hours and 20 minutes.
Wow.
And I will say definitely that it is not my own efforts. I have my 2 pillars, my son and my mom, who inspired me every single day. And through the, energy of those 2 people, I was able to finish my first marathon. And I was definitely proud of, what I have accomplished on that day. And from that point, I haven't looked back. There's a phrase which goes something like that, you are a completely different person, once you have finished a marathon. It will change your life upside down. And that is what has happened with me.
Wow. You also couple that, you're also a healthy eater. And that's another thing that we share commonality with. I haven't eaten anything with 4 legs since 1975. Healthy eating. So you subscribe to healthy eating too, and that's just part of the whole picture, your picture. So all of this in your life now, with the running and the meditation and the eating, you then said, why don't I write a book? How did that book writing come about?
Yes.
And the book, so I'm going to show it right here for folks. The Man with Zero Talent. It's about reinvention, which I also share with you. So how did this come about, Sanjib?
So, when I implemented meditation and walking and then jogging, I was, already implementing healthy eating because, we are what we eat. If I am putting, junk food in my body will be, lazy and lethargic, and my mind is going to work the same way. So again, it's a gradual process. I slowly started implementing healthy food, like, I started avoiding sugars. Completely stopped white sugar. And I started implementing, salad, green leafy vegetables. I implemented that. I cut down a lot of red meat at the same time. I used to eat a lot of meat. I used to eat every single day. So I cut down on the red meat. I still eat, white meat, once or twice a week. So, I read a lot about, what is healthy eating, what food we can eat to make our brain healthy. Because, brain needs, food, and it needs, good quality food, organic food. So, I brought like walnuts, which is good for your brain health. Any kind of nuts is good, but walnuts are, are definitely good for your brain health. Avocado, again, good source of, healthy fat and good for your brain. Spinach, kale, these are all good source of, food for your healthy brain. So I started implementing, these things in my diet. I implemented, fruits. Like I never used to eat fruits before. So I started eating, one or two servings of fruits. Like it can be apple, it can be, banana, it can be papaya, whatever the seasonal fruits are there. So, once I was able to see all the changes inside me, that, this has radically changed me over a course of time. And I see so many people, when I go to the pharmacy struggling with their diet, with their health, with their mental health, as well as physical health. So I thought, why shouldn't I write a book so that people can get, all the information which is needed to come from negativity to positivity. And once they are able to come to positivity, how to become a better version of themselves. Because, that is the ultimate goal. Everyone wants to become, happy, healthy, and successful. So I thought of writing this book, and I named this book The Man with Zero Talent. Again, it does not, specify, what I have written. The name I have given is that because I was not born talented. I was a very average student, when I was in school. I was average in studies. I was average in sports. When I did my pharmacy degree, I was again average. I did not have any special qualities. So that's the thing which I want to tell the other people, that you don't have to be exceptional. You can do, what you know at that point and keep improving it from that point. And, in that book, I have, the first chapter of that book is Life is Messy. As we all know that, life is filled with pain and suffering. I'm a very optimist person, but, still once we reach, 20 or 25 or 30, then we start, struggling in our life, because of different circumstances. It can be, financial reason, it can be, employment, it can be, marriage issue, it can be, any different health issues. So, life is messy for everyone. But in spite of that, how we can find meaning in our life. We haven't decided that we wanted to get born, but now we are in this planet. Now I can live a life, staying in my room, doing nothing, playing video games, drinking beer and just passing my time in this planet. Or I can do something useful or meaningful so that other people can benefit from my life. Because, if you see life, everybody is going to die. Whether you like it, whether you don't like it, if you are rich or you are poor, it doesn't matter. But in spite of that, we have to live a life which is, meaningful and which is worthy and which is satisfying at the end of the life. Like you are 78, definitely what you are doing is satisfying. That's the reason you are able to do it every single day. Otherwise, it's very hard to wake up every single day at that age and, sitting and, conversation with other people. You have that motivation. No, this is something worthy, and I'm giving value, through this platform to other people. So that is the goal of writing that book. And from the first chapter, which is life is messy, then I talked about how to come out of negativity to positivity. I talked about meditation. I talked about goals, because again, having goals in your life is definitely important, because when you are in a negative state of mind, having a small goal will propel you to think positive. Like, I have a small goal of running 1 mile. It might be, a mundane thing, but it's still a goal which helped me, move towards positivity. So have a goal. Doesn't matter, it's a small goal or a big goal. Pick something up which you like today. It can change after 6 months, which is fine. But at least you have something to work on. So pick a goal, work on that goal and start, improving yourself. So, I talked about goals, then I talked about, how to become, a better version of yourself through meditation, through exercise, through healthy eating. And, I talked about emotional intelligence at the same time, because we all have the habit of being impulsive. We react rather than think. And, by default, we have been made like that. Our rational brain thinks a little later than our emotional brain. Our emotional brain is the fast one. If I say something bad to anybody, their emotional brain will react faster, even if he's highly educated. So how to control your emotional brain? And the last chapter is how to become a better leader. So it's a complete book.
Yeah.
For your, reinventing yourself and transforming yourself to a better human being.
I can't, because I've lived my life with so many elements of what you wrote about. That's what, in part, what kind of magnetized me, and that's why we're doing this, because the value in your words and what you've done is so critically important. It's funny, a few years ago, I in the middle of the pandemic, I set a goal for myself. I mean, I was doing this channel, which is expanded beyond what I would have ever thought. But I also had another goal. It was a healthy goal. It was, I wanted to weigh what I weighed 40 or 50 years ago. And that basically is an unattainable goal. But I said, I got to at least give it a shot. I'd like to, over the years, the weight thing. And so anyway, I put myself on I read about intermittent fasting, and I tweaked it to my own lifestyle and my own, the realities of doing something like that. And it became a way of life. And it's funny, I was in the basement the other day looking at old stuff, and I found an old resume when I was a pharmacist, applying for a job, and they needed my height and my weight, and this was over 40 years ago, and I actually weighed less now than I did 40 years ago. Wow. And I came running up the stairs to tell my wife, I said, I weigh less than I did like 45 years ago. Yes. I never thought I'd be able, I weigh almost like it was like I was in college. It was great. It's a goal, and that's what the man would it is really there's so many tools here for life. If it's like, if you can get people and kind of shake them up, because they're really, this stuff works, and what you're talking about works. It really works in the real world. You just have to do it and stop watching reels for 2 minutes and pay attention to the changing world. So Book in hand. Now, let's talk about the world of Luvo and meditation, and your energy and the work that you put into developing Luvo, and you're going to talk all about that. There's so many different aspects. If you can now give an introduction on how Luvo, it's a free app, and you can talk about all this, and how meditation helps to change brain waves, the left side of the brain, the right side of the brain. I mean, there's so much about this. Begin your journey to creating Luvo.
So after writing my book in 2021, I thought, why shouldn't I make an app? Again, this is not pre-planned. It's a journey. Life is a journey, and I was taking my journey. Once I have finished one thing, I wanted to, see what else is possible, because I wanted to reach many other people at the same time. So I thought of making an app. And again, it was an interesting journey, because when I was, trying to find the name of the app, what should I name my app? I went through maybe, 1,000 names. And as I have mentioned you before, that, Luvo came in my dream.
Wow.
I never heard of this word Luvo in my life. I don't know how it came. It was crystal clear in my brain, Luvo. I came from my bedroom, I searched in my laptop, what does Luvo means? And Luvo means to love yourself. And that is a message that we have to love ourselves first, then we can love somebody else. If I don't like myself, it's very hard to like somebody else. So that's how the name Luvo came, and it means to love yourself. And how can you love yourself? You can love yourself by meditating, because you're doing it for yourself. So we have a section in the app which is meditation, and there are many advantages of doing meditation. I will come to that later, but I will just explain what is there in this app. So we have a section which has meditation. Once you logged into the app, there is 9 questions. Once you answer those 9 questions, the app will decide which level of meditation you are. There are 7 levels of meditation.
Wow.
So the app will decide, okay, you are in the 2nd level or you are in the 3rd level. So you will start from that level, and you will stay on each level for 7 days. And we have used audio frequency and vibrational frequency. So audio frequency is in the range from 396 Hz to 963 Hz, and vibrational frequency from 100 to 200 Hz. And how we are giving the vibrational frequency is through the palm of the hand. The user will keep the phone in the palm of your hand, and there are 7 levels you can adjust it, and the vibration will be given through the palm of the hand. Wow. And you will hear the audio frequency through your headset. And there is a neuroscientist with the name of Dan Hewer who found out that, the approximate frequency, which is optimum for brain health, is 250 Hz. And what we emphasize is that using audio frequency and vibrational frequency enhances your level of meditation. And this has never been used in any other app. Wow. This is the only app which has used vibrational frequency. So we have, meditation. Again, we have guided meditation at the same time. Some of the people who is not able to, use only music, they can use guided meditation. Then we have, meditation for high performance. So suppose if you wanted to focus, concentrate, or if you are an athlete, you wanted to, meditate and be in a state of flow, you can use those kind of meditation at the same time. So meditation is one section, then comes the exercise. So the app is going to count the number of steps you take per day. the calories burned, and the distance traveled. And it will give you a graphical representation in days, week, month, and year. So you have everything, in one place. How many steps you have taken in the whole month, it will be there. And if you want, you can connect your smartwatch. Like if you have an Apple Watch or if you have a Fitbit or Garmin, you can connect your smartwatch with this app, so you can get all the data from your smartwatch to this, app. So you don't have to, search in two different places. You will have all the data in one place. The third thing we have is the water intake. As we live in cold countries, especially me, I drink very little water. And I, tell my son, I'm like a camel. I drink very, little water. And as you know, that our brain and body is made up of 70% of water. So if we are not hydrating enough, it can lead to depression or anxiety. So what the app is doing, it is going to remind you every 2 or 3 hours to, hydrate yourself with water, so that, you can live a happy life. Because, we don't want people to be anxious or depressed, because as we see that, more than, I will say, at least 30 to 40% of the world population have, depression or anxiety or some kind of mental issues. So the goal of making this app is how to, make people, come out of that negativity to positivity. The fourth section we have is sleep analysis. If we are not able to sleep well, it can cause havoc in your life. Sleep is very, very important. So this app is going to measure, your light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep. And again, you can connect your watch to the app and it will give you a graphical representation of, what time you slept, what time you wake up, sleeping hours, awake hours, everything, will be in one place. So then we have gratitude. Like, gratitude is something which I definitely believe that we all have to cultivate. It doesn't come naturally to anybody. And, how you can build gratitude, we have a section that you can, mention what you are grateful for that day. There has to be something. You are grateful, or you wake up today. That is something to be grateful for. You have a house, you have food in your table, you have a job, you have a family. There are so many things we should be grateful for. But what, Calvin, happens is people always see the negative side of their life. They don't see what they have. It's like, the phrase, we see why the cup is half empty rather than seeing, what is, half full. So it's kind of, seeing what is with us rather than seeing what is not with us. So, that is how we can build gratitude, by looking at the positive things in your life. And that is how you can cultivate happiness in your life. Because, happiness, you cannot go in a store and buy happiness. And you cannot, get happiness by chance. How you create happiness is by cultivating it, in your daily life. It's a state of mind. And you can cultivate happiness the same way you can cultivate gratitude. Because, once you are able to think positive, that is going to give you the happiness, and that is the closest you can get to, happiness. Because what you are thinking in this 3-pound mass of jelly is going to make your, day, better. So, gratitude is one section. Then we have, blogs to give you knowledge, as knowledge is information. And that's what you are trying to do through this podcast, to give you, information and knowledge so that people can grow in their life. And then we have live sessions for meditation, yoga, healthy eating, meditation, music, gratitude. Wow. So we have all these, live coaches coming in this platform, sharing their knowledge and information, and you can chat with the coaches so that if you have any confusion or if you have any question, you can interact with the coaches. So this is a complete app, which will give you everything what you need. We don't say, do only meditation. If you're not interested in meditation, which is fine, do yoga. If you're not, interested in doing yoga, doing exercise, do something which is going to positively impact your life. And the best thing is, this app is completely free. As you have mentioned, you don't have to, pay any subscription. You can download it from Play Store or Apple Play Store. And once you have downloaded this app, there is a link to download the free book from this app also. So you can get the free book at the same time, so you don't have to pay. So there are, a lot of advantages downloading this app. I will definitely suggest your users to try it. If they like it, that's fine. If they don't see worth in it, definitely, you always have the option of deleting it.
I have one of your promo pieces for Luvo, which I'll embed for people to see it. And by the way, before the sun sets here in New Jersey, I will have downloaded Luvo. I'll keep you posted. I like the way I worded that, before the sun sets. I'm going to take care of that. It's your life and the fulfillment and gratitude. I mean, the elements of your life. It's quite a journey. And I'll even take it a couple steps further. It's the stuff they make movies about. I mean, really, it's quite a journey. The pharmaceutical side, the fulfillment side, the health side, the exercise, the app, the book. That's a lot. Sanjib, that's a lot of fulfillment. There's another element to you which also fascinates me, because when I started my journalism, my reinvention journalism 12 years ago, I did a lot with music. And you're an accomplished musician. And you've got a bunch of songs on Spotify. So one of them is Rise from the Ashes, which seems to be part of your journey. So talk about your music career. When did you start with music?
Again, Kelvin, it is an interesting story. I never thought that I will do music in my career. As I told you, nothing was planned. I learned music when I was a child. But, once that phase was over, music was kind of gone from my life. And, I used to listen to music, which is a different thing. But, I never, practiced music after that time. So I think in 2021, I was so frustrated with my life at one day. And, this song was kind of a story of my own life, Rise from the Ashes. Because, when I started my journey in 2017, I have to completely reinvent myself. I have to completely stop doing I will, say it like, I have to relearn everything from the scratch. And, once you are relearning it, you have to kind of reinventing yourself and, rise from the ashes. So, the song goes something like that. I will rise one last time from my ashes. It's the time that I rise from my ashes. I was pushed many times in my life. In shadows and darkness, I always rise.
Wow.
This is a challenge, rising from your ashes. So, the song is about, me rising from my ashes. And it was a challenge because, change is not easy. And when you're changing at the age of 37 or 38, as you have gone through your change at the age of 65, you know that, the change was not easy. You have to put in a lot of efforts to, change yourself. So, that was a song which I wrote it. And then, different songs came into my mind. Again, it's the songs which I write is my own philosophy of life. I wrote a song about pain. because pain is the greatest motivator in life. Pain has, led me to do what I'm doing today. Because, if you see that, anything which is precious, if you see diamond, if you see gold, these are found in, in difficult places. Like, gold, you have to go, mine in rocks, then only you can find, gold. Diamond, you have to find in extreme pressure, diamond is formed. So it's the same thing, pain is the greatest motivator, because, pain can transform you into a better human being, or it can destroy you. So that was one of the songs. Then I wrote, songs when there was the World Cup soccer going on. I wrote a song about the soccer. I sang one song which is called Love Me or Hate Me. So that is, and then, there are many songs I wrote, one song which is called Mona Lisa. So there are at least, right now I have 22 songs in Spotify. And most of the songs are inspirational songs. I write inspirational songs because, that is my ultimate goal, to inspire people, to transform people. And it can be through music, through my podcast, through speeches. This is the way, I interact with my audience or to any people.
So multifaceted. It kind of I identify so much with everything you're saying and what you do, because in my journeys I've touched on a little of that in a disorganized way, because you've organized, exactly, and step by step, and the things you've done. I've been disorganized, but trying to find fulfillment. I have two more questions, because you know what, we could talk for a long time, Sanjib.
Yes, means definitely.
A long time.
I have so much of information. I can talk for hours on meditation.
And when we're done with this, I'm going to invite you to come back, because there's no way we can ever even scratch the surface of your depth, and the breadth, and your experiences, and the productivity and the positivity. I mean, I'm taking away so much. Off topic, I like this question. I kind of forewarned you I was going to ask this. I like this question. Excluding family or friends, somebody living or dead you'd like to spend a day with, and you don't have to answer it if nothing pops into your head.
Wow, it's a very good question, Kelvin. So, if one person, if I have to think about who is not my family or friend, I will definitely say Viktor Frankl, who is the author of the book, The Man's Search for Meaning. And, when I was going through my self-transformation journey, he was kind of one of my mentor or one of my role model. And I have read that book as a Bible. So definitely, that is the person I wanted to, spend a day. And why I will, say, he mentioned few things in his book, like people don't die from lack of food or medicine. People die from lack of hope, lack of faith. And that is the thing, which happens in most of the human beings, that we lack hope and we lack faith. And it can, the faith can come from divine, it can come from universe, but that faith and hope has to be there. Once you lose it, that is the end of your life. You cannot come back from that, depression or from that hope. And, he mentioned three things, that how to find the meaning in your life. And, I have researched a lot, I have read a lot of books, and I didn't find anything more compelling than what he has written, that you can find meaning in three things and three things only. The first is work. Whatever your work is, it can be like you are doing your podcast, that gives meaning to your life. For me, if I'm, writing something, or when I'm trying to connect with other people to give positivity, that is the meaning of my life. For somebody else, if they are scientists, they are trying to invent something that is the meaning of their life. Work occupies, 1/3 of our life. So work can give a meaning to your life. So find something which is meaningful. In spite of that, it might not give, money or momentary gain, but it will give you the satisfaction and meaning. So first is work, second is love and caring for somebody else. And it can be, a love for your child. It can be love and caring for your parents, or it can be, for somebody else. Love is something, which gives meaning to your life, that, I am doing this for my son, or I'm doing it for my mom. It takes you to a whole different, planet. And the third thing you can find meaning is in pain and suffering, in difficult situations. When you are bogged down, you have two choices. Either you can stay in that situation, or you can, fight your way out. Because suffering and pain by itself is meaningless. You can suffer, as gravely as possible, but it is not going to gain anything to you. But, if I'm suffering, and if I'm giving meaning that this is the reason I'm suffering, it boosts you so much that you can, conquer the whole world. So, courage at difficult times gives meaning. And, there are so many, useful information, he has written in his book. And I have, used it as a Bible. And I will definitely recommend to any of your, listeners, if you don't want to read my book, which is fine. If you don't want to, download my app, which is fine. But if you are in a difficult situation anytime in your life and you don't know what to do in your life, buy that book. It's a very small book, it consists of 150 pages, but it will completely transform your life as it has done to me. And, I drew inspiration from him. His meaning of life is to, be a better version, and the same version is for myself. I wanted to push myself to the edge to learn and grow and to help others at the same time.